Friday morning worship time. Wake and stretch, rise and shine. Worship, chat and singing songs. Come join in and sing along. It's Friday morning worship time. Friday morning worship time. Friday morning worship time. Friday morning worship time.
Are you going to say hello, Bri?
I thought you were. Smooth and slick. We're back as we mean to go on.
It's lovely to be back.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
I haven't done this for a while now. It was nice to have a break, but, you know, it's always nice to be back. And we have people in the room today.
Woo-woo. And as we have 0 concurrent live viewers and 2 in the house, come on. You 2 are by far the majority. Oh, 1 viewer. Welcome, viewer. No, honestly, welcome to everyone that's watching. We know lots of people tune in at different times, and that is encouraged and allowed. And we validate you watching whatever time you're watching. It's lovely that you're joining us. And to Phoebe and Mike, who are here in the house with us as well. From now on, if you want to come and join us in person, you can.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Come on down and join in.
Come on in. You book
really
in.
good.
There'll be a link in the Lighthouse weekly update. So if you're watching on the Kingdom Life School channel and you're not on the Lighthouse weekly update, then you can message admin@thelighthouse.org.uk.
Yeah, very good.
That kept coming up on my screen by accident, so I'm sure.
What key is it in? It's an A flat, if that's okay for everybody.
Yeah.
The email will come in A flat. So
And you can book in, and next week you could be with us here in the house with bells on, if you like, if you see fit.
we're open to Morris dancers as well.
And we'll have Paul White with us next week because it will be the start of a very exciting weekend called The Gathering, which is going to be a lot of fun, isn't it?
It is. Really looking forward to that. Being able to
Actually
gather and worship together and do all that stuff, and hear from Paul, who's got a new book out, The Christing. So we're going to chat to him a bit about that next week and some other stuff that we're looking at. So it's going to be really fun. So if you'd like to come down, do book in, and it'll be lovely to see you. Then we won't be, you know, quite as lonely as we used to be down
Maybe
here.
it might be a bit cramped by you, but it'll be okay. There's tons of space down here, so don't miss out. Come and just, if you've been missing, worshipping together with some people, then come and join us. We've been
great.
missing it, so we'd love to worship with you.
Absolutely. You can also tell it's the first week back because I'm standing up. Because I
Nate
forgot.
doesn't have his seat. I don't have my headphones. We do not know what's going on yet, but we will just flow with it.
Here we go.
It's going to be an amazing morning, and if all else fails, we'll get VB up and she can just take it from here.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
And it'll be brilliant. So we're starting a new theme, aren't we?
We are.
New term, new theme. I was talking to Judah, my son, who is now a school kid. Woo-hoo.
Wow.
Yeah, he's big enough to go to school, and he's just, oh my goodness, he's loving it. I asked him what's the best thing about school, and he said, do you know what? Every day we get to go into the hall and have a party, and the big kids are there too, and then someone says a prayer, and one day I'm going to say the prayer. It's like, do you mean assembly? Assembly is your favourite thing about school? He's like, yeah. All right, well done, love. It just shows kids are really missed all just getting together and singing and telling stories. And bless him, his favourite thing is assembly.
That must be a good assembly if it's like a party. I mean,
Well
what do they
done.
do there? Balloons, cake, the whole lot, every day.
Or I've significantly lowered his expectation over the last 4 years of what a party actually is. It's like sitting still with school legs and just listening while someone talks. Anyway, that was by the by, but I hope you enjoyed it. No, I was talking to Judy the other day about hide and seek and about hiding things. He was talking about hiding something for us to find. And it made me think, I don't know if you guys remember a while back, a lot a lot of people were reading Tommy Tenney's book, The God Chasers, and he talked about like God being like a father who likes to play hide and seek with us, but he's the kind of dad that hides behind the curtains but sticks his toes out so that you can find him really easily. And it just got me thinking about, he hides for us to find him, and there's like these kind of expressions of him hiding anywhere you care to look in a way, and it's so much fun when you kind of switch into hide and seek mode and you're looking for God in all sorts of different places, to go and hunt him out and find him and experience him, because he's like waiting behind the curtains of my everyday life. There he is with his toes sticking out, hoping for me to find him, giving the curtain a little rustle so that I might pull back the curtain. There you are. And he's just ready at any time to surprise me. So that was kind of the inspiration a bit for this theme, that I've been enjoying some different music, some poetry, some art, a whole range of different things, been reading about art and faith and creativity and worship, and thought, let's go on a treasure hunt, like a hide and seek game with God, if you will, through culture, through art, music, writing, tradition. So that's what we're going to do over this next term. We're going to try and find some sort of expressions of worship, revelations of God, and people responding to it, but in all sorts of different places. So it could be a painting, it could be a rock song, it could be I don't know, a rap. We'll get Jan in to do a rap week with us, maybe. That would be fun. All sorts. It should be. It's going to be exciting. Should be fun. Yeah, and we're going to let it, as always, kind of lead us to a place of worship where we can just gaze at another angle of God, be amazed by him, and respond in worship.
Yeah, that's cool. I was thinking this morning about, so I read this book called The Sonic Boom, which was a while ago now, a few years ago. But it came back to me this morning. And this book is about sound and music in like everyday life that happens now. So it used to be that, if you imagine before there was, you could get everything on CD or record or tape back in the day and all those things. There would just be kind of this, music was only something you could do live. And then suddenly, gradually, music has just become this, sound has become this thing that is all the time. And you really notice when there is no sound nowadays. You don't think, oh, there's some music or there's something going on now. It's when it stops that you notice. Anyway, and he does a really interesting thing in this book about just sitting where you are. And he talks about there are foreground noises, there are kind of middle ground sounds and noises, and then there are these background things. And so it's a really interesting thing to do in different kind of times. So like right now, probably the foreground noise is me talking. That's kind of what you're very aware of. And probably there's some middle ground noise, which might be maybe some cars or trucks that are going on behind us outside of the building that suddenly come along and you notice them. But then there's all this background noise, like the hum, the fan, which you can't hear, but we can. And these guys probably couldn't hear, actually, but we can hear that. You might hear a bird or something suddenly begin to happen. And you become very aware of kind of all of this. There's a lot more in the background going on than what is happening in this foreground. So it's things like, so like white noise and stuff like that. People use that to get to sleep.
Oh man, it's a staple in our house. We have Ollie the owl in the middle of the night. A little bit of white noise gets the baby back to sleep.
And it's an amazing thing because it kind of gets rid of all of the tiny little things that might wake you up. I know Maya has a fan on, one because she's hot, but I think also she has it all year because it's noise, this kind of noise that goes on. And I was thinking about how in the Bible, it talks about God's voice being like the sound of rushing waters. Well, rushing waters is that kind of overwhelming sound of like every frequency is in that kind of rushing water.
Yeah, well, Ollie the owl has rushing water sound, so it
there
must be
go.
A kind of white noise.
And so it kind of, but the thing, so it contains every frequency, and yet it helps us get to sleep because it can become this background thing.
Yeah, isn't it weird to think if you just isolated one frequency out of that?
Yeah.
You would just hear, and it would be so annoying, but because it's like it's.
But it's this kind of thing, and it's almost like this everything becomes this nothing, like in your head, you kind of push it all back to the back. And I'm thinking about this kind of finding God in all of these things. If God's voice is like the sound of rushing waters, which is, it is in every frequency that we can hear, just to carry on the sound thing, then how often do we just create this as the background to what's happening? And instead, the only time we kind of engage with with spirit or whatever is going on is when suddenly it kind of breaks through into the foreground for some reason, when actually this has been carrying on and going on the whole time. I haven't become aware. You know, we've talked about awareness and
or it's when we
stuff.
stop all the other noises that have, like, I never noticed the fan here while we're doing a bunch of things, we're playing music. It's just when we stop and there's a moment's quietness, we realise that was there the whole time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so we kind of choose to focus on something else. I recommend you do this kind of little thing where you stop and just listen, because it is really fascinating what you actually hear and what you just ignore. Right? It's like me and so I paint and painter and decorator, and people come into a room when you're painting and think, wow, how do you can you not smell that? Do you not kind of? I can smell the paint, but I just
the paint.
I just don't. Yeah, fortunately, I'm in a job where if I don't shower, it's not too bad. But it's not that I can't smell it. It's that I don't notice it because I'm around it all the time, and I wonder if we don't notice.
Definitely.
God might be doing something because He's around us all the time.
Yeah. Well, that leads me very nicely, if that's all right,
Come on.
to what the little bit of art I've been thinking about this last week or two. I've been listening to on my like an audio book. I mean, it's a bit lazy, isn't it? A way to read something new, but I'm listening to the audio book of an epic poem called Aurora Leigh by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who was a Victorian poet, and just her relationship with nature is really, really amazing. This character Aurora is kind of exploring some of the things that the poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning was really into, and Aurora goes out into the countryside one day, and she's been moved over from Italy as a young child. She was orphaned and shipped off to England to live with her aunt, who doesn't seem to like her very much, and she's in this very different kind of climate and landscape, and she's describing like the English countryside, like she says, oh, when God shaped the hills, He just pressed lightly to make small dimples of hills instead of the big craggy mountains she's used to in Italy. And it's like, oh, little dimple hills. I just love that idea of that. But that's kind of what the English landscape's a bit like. And she's looking around, and the dew on the grass and the birds and just the beauty around her. And she goes, surely God is with us. And it's just this moment of like, just through nature, she suddenly realizes, oh, there He was all along. It's like in that moment of stopping, she, fades out the other things and is aware of that. There He was all along. And there's a famous quote that I think I must have heard it at school or something, but lately it popped back into my mind, and that's what made me start listening to this poem. A quote from it that says, all of earth is crammed with heaven, and every common bush afire with God, but only he who stops to take off his shoes sees it, or only he who sees it stops to take off his shoes, and the rest sit around and pluck blackberries. I just love the idea that all of earth is crammed with heaven, like crammed in. It's like, like not just one frequency, but all the frequencies are there all the time. Earth is crammed with heaven. There's revelations of God just everywhere. And every common bush is like a burning bush moment waiting for us, God hiding for us to find Him in the trees, the bushes, the leaves. There He is in His creation, in nature, inhabiting it, dwelling in it, waiting for us to encounter Him in it. But it's only if we kind of open our eyes and see and take off our shoes and recognize the holy moment that it turns into a holy moment. Otherwise, it's just a nice moment and we can have blackberries and that's good, but there's better. And I just loved that idea of just stopping. And it made me think a little bit of Jacob, you know, when he's at the place that he calls Bethel, and he just thinks he's lying down and putting his head on a rock, but something happens where his eyes are opened and he sees angels ascending and descending from heaven, and he realizes it was here all along. Like, surely this was the house of God and I didn't even see it. And so this little bit of poetry for me has been a kind of, I don't know, like a pay attention.
Yeah.
That, like, yeah, surely we're in the house of God. Earth is crammed with heaven all around us all the time. And I've been trying to just, I don't know, spot it in nature, spot it in those moments when I'm out. And that little bit of poetry was kind of a door into that for me over the last couple of weeks.
Right. That's so cool. It's like the burning bush, like the Moses thing, you know. He's walked the land for 40 years, and then suddenly he realizes, oh, this is a holy place. Someone goes, this is a holy place. For 40 years he's walked around not realizing what's right here. And suddenly, I mean, a burning bush would get my attention, you know, I think. But just that moment of that suddenly, you know, we talk about suddenlies quite a lot of, you know, suddenlies are kind of very slow to come around sometimes. This kind of slow build of something, and then bam, and something happens, and we change, and then you're changed for. Once that happens, I think you can't go back. Once you've seen, you can't unsee. Once you've heard, you can't unhear. It's there, and I think it can fundamentally change the way we do this thing, do work, do life, the whole thing, right? Because now is moving from scarcity to abundance, from will God come at this time in this place to, oh, God's everywhere, goodness is everywhere, and I can.
That abundance thing, I think, comes across so well in that all of earth is crammed with heaven. Like, it's just bursting out at the seams. There he is, like, pouring out, you know, it can't even contain him. Like, this world he's made is his home and our home, but it can't contain him, and it's bulging at the seams with God moments waiting to happen. And I definitely remember, like as a teenager or early 20s maybe, like having this kind of, I want to be a God chaser. I've just got to, like, earnestly go for this one moment, and it might happen for me at some point. There will be a little moment, and that hunger is a good thing. There's nothing bad about having that hunger, but there's a sort of scarcity about it as well, that, like, he is way out there and I am way over here, and if somehow, you know, heaven's finger could touch my finger across this great divide, then we could have a spark and it'd be a moment. But instead, when we start seeing, like, man, it's like bursting. Do you know what? Maybe Jesus actually knew what he was saying when he said the kingdom of heaven is right at hand, so close you could reach out and touch it. And that abundance, I think, it puts it down to me opening my eyes, stopping the rushing, stopping the racing, stopping all the other sounds that crowd the airwaves, and stopping for a second, and sure enough, here I am in the house of God, and I didn't even know it.
Come on. That's good. That's just good. It's nice to do this again.
I'm having fun, you having fun?
Yeah, I am. I'm loving it. My mind's going 10 to the dozen now. That's cool, man. Well, should we do some worship?
Let's do some worship.
Because, you know, it's just nice to do that, isn't it? There's something that's taking that time rather than rushing around to stop.
Yeah.
That's part of this, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's great to worship. We're not striving to create a moment that's good enough that God would come and meet us in it. But we're just worshipping because he's here with us, and we're thankful for that. And sure enough, there he is.
Jesus, we love you. And we just choose to stop now and see what you're doing in this moment. See what's happening all around us. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open. Pull me in closer, close to your heart. May I be a pure reflection of all you are. Love that is patient, love that is kind, love that keeps no offenses or wrongs in mind. Make me like Jesus, make me like Jesus. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, yeah. Faithful to find me right where I am. Though even in my wandering, you call me friend. Mercy receives me and lifts me to my feet, and I'm caught up in the wonder and mystery of knowing Jesus, of knowing Jesus. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, I'm do whatever you want to do. Say whatever you want to say. Move however you want to move. Change whatever you want to change. Do whatever you want to do. Say whatever you want to say. Move however you want to move. Change whatever you want to change. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, I'm open. My heart is an open space for you to come and have your way. I'm open, I'm open, yeah. Listening for the still small voice. Listening for the still small voice. The jaws I sing, the jaws I sing. Your eyes see.
'cause you are there all around me. I breathe you in, 'cause you are here all around me. Oh, there you are along, waiting for me to slow down and look for you. There you were, hiding, waiting to be found by me. Heaven is here, heaven is here at hand. Heaven is here, heaven is here, heaven is here at hand. Heaven is here. Oh, heaven is here. Oh, heaven is here at hand. And I can hear the voice of my Father asking, what would you do if you found me right now? What would you do if you caught me right now after chasing me so long? What would you do if you found me right now? What would you ask if you caught me right now? 'Cause I'm here at hand, heaven is here at hand. stillness and surrender, I find your peace in times of trial. I lay down my hopes and fears and find your love can lead me through. I find your love can lead me through. And as I see you, nothing else matters. As I hear your voice, all else fades away. 'Cause you are all I need, and your love covers me. And what could compare to the wonder of knowing that as I see you, nothing else matters. As I hear your voice, all else fades away. 'Cause you're all I need, and your love covers me. And what could compare to the wonder of knowing? Oh, what could compare to the wonder of knowing? Oh, what could compare to the wonder of knowing you? The wonder of What could compare to the wonder of knowing you?
We thank you, Father, that we are never far away. That even if we wanted to get away, we couldn't. Thank you that you are with us. That you surround us, you are inside us. Everywhere we go. We choose to just keep our eyes and ears open to everything you're doing, in every situation, in every place. We thank you for where you're going to take us in this next term. And we love you. Amen. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for joining us in the room. Come on. Do book in to come down. It would be lovely to see some more faces. So that's good. So we're going to have, it's a family service with kids and parents. So if you would like to book in for that, book in, or if booking's already closed.
Few spaces left, I think.
There's a few spaces. So if you are a parent with kids and stuff, come on down. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff for ages like 1 to 18, and for parents too, I'm sure. We're going to have fun as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun this Sunday from 10:30. And there will be, is it evening worship this Sunday as well? There's evening worship as well. On the ball. So do sign up for that via Eventbrite if you'd like to come down. If not, it will be on the Lighthouse YouTube channel for you to join in on at 7:30. Have a fantastic week. Remember the gathering next weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun with Paul White. Happening all weekend, so look for the timetable on the website, and you can sign up for various sessions and things then. So do go and do that, and we will see you real soon. Thank you, everybody. Bye.